Hello and good afternoon. It's the Civil Savage 76, otherwise known as Rex Knickerbocker. Just wanted to have a conversation today. How many of you feel like you're feeling a heaviness within you lately? Like you're anxious, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to think, you don't know what's going to happen in the world. You're being told who your heroes ought to be every single second. It's being crammed down your throat. Any soundbite that comes from a blue check mark type person, everybody's on it, chasing it, going after that person, exalting that person, putting this person on a pedestal because they said this. Meanwhile, you have someone who was never even a doctor who's telling you to put certain things in your arm. You have all of these institutions that are interconnected, and I mean literally everything is connected. Every single thing that I've been speaking about for quite some time now has direct and indirect correlations. Every big box store that you interact with, every corporate logo and brand that you interact with, it's all part of what I call, or what many other people call, the hive mind, a simulacrum. And it's all connected to how you live your life, the lifestyle that you want to lead versus the lifestyle that you don't lead. And that's usually due to upholding a life of practicalities, jobs, bills, etc. And you're trying to work for money, and then at the same time, you feel like you want to gain wisdom. You want to gain some kind of knowledge. You want to improve your mind in a way that you never previously thought you could. Congratulations, that's what makes you a person. Anytime that you have viewpoints that go outside the modern prescribed consensus of what's going on, congratulations, that means that you have a consciousness. Because I'm certainly tired of being told who my experts ought to be at every drop of a hat. Everything from what the mainstream says to be the gold standard of medical care to what the gold standard of education should be. And then you're seeing all the different things that are going on with education, the economy, the general quality of life across the board. And right here, I've drawn up a diagram. I'm not sure how I'm going to show it, but it's all these things, and I drew it all today, and it's all interconnected. Everything from the World Economic Forum to the Center for Disease Control to the Food and Drug Administration to the International Monetary Fund to the NIH. All that stuff is connected to Fauci, Schwab, Gates, Soros, Borla, the bylaws in DC that basically put us into or under the dominion of the English Crown, the British Accreditation Registry. It's all connected. Everything from the Nazi Party to George Bush to Planned Parenthood. Just for starters, Bill Gates' father sat on the board for Planned Parenthood. And there's still a lot of people out there making this assertion that if you think this kind of stuff, you're just a tinfoiled hat weirdo. You're just some washed up individual who presumably never picked up a career in your formidable years. So here you are going on these rants about what the government's doing and not doing and supposed to be doing. And that's simply not the case. And a lot of people will make the assertion, this is because you have no true career goals. And that's what I hear generally across the board. I got news for you. I've had many career goals in my life that have fell outside the mass prescribed consensus as to what constitutes notions of success in a Western society. I was never really interested in college, but then I went and got a 3.8 grade point average, carrying 5 courses, none of which were lower than a 250 level, all of which were either law, marketing, philosophy, history. Wasn't so up in math. That's not really my strength. I went to college and I studied things I genuinely had an interest in, and that was the law. That's how I found out that the British Accreditation Registry owns everything around you in this country. You are a municipal corporation. The name on your ID is in all caps because that represents you, the employee of the corporation. They trade your birth certificate based on projected tax information about you. All the big box stores are funded by the Center for the CDC, which is connected to Bill Gates, and it's connected to everything, including the ruling bloodline families, the 13. There's nothing wrong with chasing your dreams. There's nothing wrong with having a vision. You know, even if someone calls you a conspiracy theorist because you entertain the notion that perhaps something funny happened with the Las Vegas shooter in terms of who we're told was the shooter, to 9/11, to the Montauk Project. I mean, I could go deep and deep and deep, and I'm trying not to. And we're told that we're crazy, that we're the tinfoil hat people. Meanwhile, CNN is basically kicking all of their top people out. I bet you Don Lemon comes next. It's been Brian Stelter. You know, all these other people are leaving. Fauci's retiring, as he would say. All these people are collapsing around you. These were all the people who you were told to believe as your heroes, or to view as your heroes. And now look at them. So when the media tells you something, the heuristic that I often employ is that when the media tells you something, it's because the State Department told them to say that. So if the State Department told them to say that, then I go and I look at what the State Department is affiliated with, involved with, and the answer is as bad as the day is long, let me tell you. Everything from NATO to what's going on in the Ukraine, to who Zelensky's connected to, which is Pelosi, and all the rest from the Obamas. You know, he installed a regime in 2014 in the Ukraine, which resulted in the Maidan Square massacre. Lots of little proxy wars are showing up all around the world. We're deployed to like 12 different countries, by the way. You're just not seeing the rest of them. I'm sure you all heard about the different things going on in the Middle East. That's not even news to me anymore. It's been going on since I was in the 4th grade. The endless wars in the Middle East. And it saddens me that the conflicts have only increased since I've been a young boy in school. Well, I do love mixed martial arts, and I like things about weapons and defense and tactics and all that, and while I enjoy that, I certainly wish these wars didn't happen, but unfortunately they do. So growing up, I never really wanted to go work for one of these transnational corporations that doesn't care about the United States Constitution, lobbies to have your civil liberties taken away, while they arm 87,000 IRS agents to come tax you because you have 601 in your Venmo account. Yeah, and that's the world you're gonna see. A world where the IRS will come and shoot you, your dog, and your wife because you have $2 that you forgot to report because your grandma gave you $20 in 1992. It went from throwing tea overboard to now having IRS agents. I'm not sure what else needs to happen in order for people on the left to really wake up and go. And now I'm going to really get into it. Planned Parenthood was connected to the Nazi eugenics program. Oh man. There's so much. Like Gates is connected. He hung out with Epstein 36 times, by the way. 36 times Bill Gates hung out with Epstein, but everybody goes because that's their designated hero, you know, because he represents the gold standard of healthcare, even though he doesn't have a college degree. All he did was took his technological career in making viruses and chose to make real ones. And the other thing that I'm hearing from people who hate on me and what I do is that, well, if you know all this stuff, you can't really do anything about it. You're just one man. You're powerless. You're powerless in this situation. That's learned helplessness. A lot of these people, the sheep, bah, bah, bah. I listen to everything that CNN says. Bah. If it doesn't come from Brian Stelter's asshole, then it must not be true. Bah, bah. That's learned helplessness, and that is also it's just hive mind matrix groupthink. And when someone tells you who your hero ought to be, you should try to evaluate the person saying that and what kind of person they are. If someone calls you a conspiracy theorist, tell them that the CIA created the term conspiracy theorist in order to gaslight your perceptions, to then make you question what you think is reality and what you think is not. Growing up, I never really got into things like business. I had different goals, everything from the military, law, different things, and for different reasons and another, medical issues and different things like that didn't work out. So here I am, babbling on about things that people think is crazy, but it's all happening in front of their very eyes. And all of their heroes are either resigning or getting discontinued. And I've been called some asinine Caucasian white male with a bunch of hot air and and a lot of time on their hands. No, I'm somebody who's genuinely a concerned citizen, and I'm concerned about what's going on, and I see the connections between the big box stores, all the medical conglomerates that are tied in with the lobbying interests of DC and Fauci, people like George Soros, Agenda 2030.